Hello everyone. Today is the day that I unveil the Toshiba Qosmio to all my long-form viewers. If you're familiar with my channel, then you've seen the shorts that I've made of the Toshiba Qosmio, but I've never made a long-form video on it. Lupe here has never even heard of the Quasimodo. When it came in, he said, "Whoa, can I drive this?" And I said, "No, that's too much power for you, buddy." And then I remembered what Lupe's working with, and I apologize profusely. Now, the Toshiba Quasimodo is a gaming laptop from 2008-2009, and it was designed to be as gamer as possible with an emphasis on the game. It's about 6,000 pounds, and I'm just very strong. It has an amazing speaker system, 4 speakers on top, there's a subwoofer on the bottom, touch panel right here. Oh wow. And it holds a battery. I haven't charged this in a few days, and this is the original battery, and it is at 35%. Amazing. Now, the reason I want to do a video in this, a long-form video, because this thing deserves a long-form video. But it's not just about the Toshiba itself. It's about CHONK. Let's talk about CHONK. Back in the mid-2000s, CHONK was a thing. You had these chonky gaming laptops like this, the Gateway FX. Later on, you had MSI, all that stuff. Big old laptops, and they were so friggin' cool. Now, a lot of us have fond memories of these thick laptops because they were a lot of our first gaming laptops. And when I say us, I mean 90s kids, right? If you were born in the mid to late 80s, if you were rich, you used these, or you fixed them if you were poor and you worked at a repair shop like I did. The reason I love these laptops, it's not just the power or whatever, because let's be real, these things can't run like anything anymore. It's the design, the actual effort they put into these laptops to make them look so friggin' cool. Before companies were so obsessed with satisfying shareholders and designing things that, you know, the masses would adopt and they would love and they'd get the least amount of complaints on, they actually went out of their way to design computers to look cool without just RGB. Nowadays, they just shove RGB on everything and it's a gaming laptop, and that's easy money. They're just gonna print it. But back then, I felt like they had more pride in what they made. They weren't scared to take risks. Sony especially deserves credit on this one, because Sony made some crazy stuff that they knew was not gonna take off to like the mass market. But they took that risk and they made it. Unfortunately, it bit them in the ass because they lost a lot of money. So I guess that's why they don't do it anymore. But that was an era, taking risks to make something cool. That's something that people will remember. You know, something that was built out of passion rather than just focusing on numbers. And that's what I want to focus on today. I think this is the best example of that whole ideology. It symbolizes that period the best. And I'm sure you guys will agree. So this thing, for no reason, has a ribbed palm rest for your wife's pleasure. It has those big ass speakers. It has a webcam. It does have somewhat RGB looking things right here. It has a bunch of ports, as you would expect from a gaming laptop of this era. A huge heatsink that has a little curve to it, but you know what they say, Lupe. 2 USB ports. It has a fax machine port, so you can fax your enemies after you kill them. Now just imagine if they made laptops this thick, but with modern cooling and modern hardware. You wouldn't have the problems that you have nowadays, like with this MSI. I mean, ironically, you'd probably still have broken hinges. These did have hinges that broke, so this thing's not perfect. The hinge is actually pretty loose on this, and this one, obviously the hinge is broken, I replaced. This is my personal laptop that I edit on. It's a piece of garbage. But look how thin this is. This thing overheats like crazy, even after I replace the thermal paste. The ventilation is garbage. It just sucks, but look how thin this thing is. Imagine if they put this hardware into this chassis. And I know some of you think I'm a magician and I'm actually
the greatest technician that's ever lived.
But I don't have the computer engineering degree to put modern hardware into old things. I'm not that smart, okay? I just fix things with my tiny raccoon-like fingers and make dick jokes on YouTube. But the point still stands. What potential could we reach if we just said, you know what, maybe we should just make a few models that are as thick as a bowl of oatmeal? Because some people like to suffer. I know my back pain, if I try to carry this thing around, I'm blowing my back out. It's gonna hurt. I'm gonna get scoliosis permanently if I try to lift this thing. In fact, I already did, and my spine is crooked. Now, I understand there's gonna be imperfections, right? So this computer is very difficult to repair. However, I like having options, and I like having the option to suffer. And if I buy this, knowing it's difficult to repair, but it's powerful, it does everything I want, and it gives me that feeling of, fuck, this is cool. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it. Just give me that option to suffer. I do it anyways, every single day. But maybe I can suffer with something a little cooler than what I'm already suffering with, which is this bland, boring piece of shit that also has imperfections. Whereas this thing,
bland piece of crap.
You think this is a bland piece of crap?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? What's so bland about it?
Everything. Look at the red.
The red's bland.
Keyboard.
Keyboard's bland.
That doesn't even freaking light up.
That's a good point. Keyboard does not light up.
Last thing, we have big ass hands gonna be scrolling and clicking on that little last thing there.
That's okay. A tiny touchpad. Yep, I agree. The touchpad's tiny. But to be fair, you're gonna be using a mouse with it.
How do you know?
Because I know you. I know you really well. All valid criticisms, but thankfully, your opinion doesn't matter. So here we are, the most perfect laptop that's ever lived. And I know a lot of you guys are gonna say, this isn't a laptop, it's a desktop. Oh, okay, maybe. But you know what? It's a desktop that you can kind of carry it around.
Yeah, sure you can.
If you can carry me, Lupe, you can carry this thing. Do you think this makes you look like you're a virgin if you carry this around?
Dude, you look like a virgin regardless.
I'm aware of that. But do you think this makes me look even more like a virgin?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Is it flames?
Mall Ninja Red, the Jinko jeans.
I don't know what that is.
You remember the Jinkos, like the parachute pants? Big ass pants with like, they were like that wide.
Did you forget what I look like?
Oh man, you're, I'm gonna put a picture of like Dave Chappelle's Prince right there. And I'm gonna Photoshop your face. To show you how portable this thing is, I'm gonna put it in my backpack.
Did they have bigger backpacks back in the day?
Everything was bigger back in the day. Everything.
Passed through TSA with that.
You are absolutely getting pulled to the side with this thing. Okay, so it doesn't fit in a backpack. The people who use these, they didn't care. And I don't care. Because it looks cool. Now, if you think this thing's big and heavy, you haven't seen my charger. So the charger for this thing alone weighs 2 pounds. Right now it weighs a little more than 2 pounds, perhaps 10 pounds. Oh God. No, because I'm actually, wait, but are you sure that
6 hours later.
Now, the laptop charger weighs 2 pounds by itself. I think it's only a 230, it's a 300, how many watts?
Yes.
Yes, because this thing needs the wattage. And look at the charger. That's what old chargers look like.
Looks like a Sega Genesis.
Yeah, kind of does, doesn't it? This place is such a shithole. So each of these pins that you see here is exactly 420 watts, every single one. I'm not exaggerating, these are facts, factual statements. The last time I used this was at a LAN party that my friend threw. It was a retro LAN party in Boston, and used this to play some good old games. So CS 1.6, Diablo, Quake 3 Arena, Red Alert 2, South Park Rally, that's an OG, StarCraft and Brood War, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Unreal Tournament, Warcraft 2, and of course, South Park Rally. The Achilles heel of this computer was the same Achilles heel that all the other computers of this era had, and that was the GPU. Bad solder from the GPU. The last video I just made, same exact issue. It affected all of these laptops, which really sucked. If these laptops could have come out now, well, maybe not now with the 50 series debacle, but back when tech was a little more reliable, like when the 10 series came out, that would have been so much better because they would have lasted longer. They wouldn't have had like the reputation they have now where they all just died from the same issue. So it was really unfortunate timing when these things were released. So I'm gonna actually just throw it back for all the OGs, some Quake 3. Listen to that surround sound. You don't get that with modern computers, man. Oh, we'll be right back. And we're back. So let's do a single player, shall we? How long can I make the name? The Greatest Technican. Model?
I like Skull and Bones, baby.
Yeah. There, it's me. Let's go Nightmare, baby. I'm no bitch. Insert the CD. Insert the CD. We'll be right back again. We're back. I think I just spawned on somebody. My Patriots gaming mouse isn't gaming. Doesn't this bring back memories, Lupe?
No.
You never went to like a LAN party or anything, like a computer, when you were a kid?
Nah.
You had friends.
Putt-putt.
If it wasn't putt-putt. The sound on that thing is insane. Now what powers this thing? That's what you want to know. It has an Intel Core 2 Duo P7350 at 2 gigahertz. 4 gigs of RAM, it can take 8 gigs of RAM. We only have 4 because we don't have the RAM here. But let's crack this thing open. Let's see what 2009 had to offer in terms of repairability, upgradability. So it has space for 2 hard drives right here. Right now I put a SSD in there, it was a 128 gig SSD. As you can see, battery is removable. Can you believe it? back in the day, removable batteries. It's the original battery and it still works. It's not puffed up like these new batteries. Every single screw is missing from the case. I don't know who took this apart before, but they didn't put the screws back where they should have. I don't know why they would do such a thing. There's room for 2 hard drives in this bad boy right here. 2 of them! Can you believe it? 2 hard drives. DVD drive. So these computers could have came with SLI, so they could have had 2 GPUs. These are the intake fans for both those GPUs. Massive heatsink in the back. A complaint I do have about most of these computers from this era, they did not let you control the fan speed for the CPU or GPU, and that led to the computers dying prematurely because the fan was too scared to turn on until the computer got to like, 6,000 degrees Celsius. Look at this, removable keyboard. Do you remember what those were like? Look at these speakers, man. Look at these things. Those are big. Also, check out these guys. Oh, it's a fly. Oh, that's a crusty boy. That is ancient. That's from the Mesozoic era. Paleolithic. What era is that from? Stone Cold Steve Austin era. But here it is. This is it. So that's the GPU.
Rotary.
Yeah, rotary engine, exactly. If you know, you know. I don't want to take the rest of this apart, to be honest. The reason I don't want to take the rest of this apart is because these GPUs, again, are on borrowed time. So any messing around with the GPUs can kill this machine, and I really don't want to kill this machine. And I've already removed and repasted the GPU and CPU. So I'm sorry. I might have clips actually, so I'll put the clips in here right now. I think I still have clips of that. They might be in short form, but you'll see it anyways. Now the argument can be made, and there's a valid argument here, that this laptop was just a sign of the times. It was the style of the times. 2000s had a weird style. My retort to that, what style do we have now? Because everything to me is bland. Gaming laptops, they all look the same. Some RGB here and there, but there's nothing that stands out as much as these older laptops did. And I think there's a benefit to doing that. Not only if you make them a little thicker, you can put more cooling in there. Not that everybody wants a thicker laptop, but at least give the option for people that do. This is a and I understand that these things back then cost so much money. And the reason that companies now use bland plastic that's not colorful and all these like intricate designs with all this like CNCing that they need to do, all the molding they need to do. I understand they don't do that because it costs too much. But people will always buy. There's always a subset of people that have a lot of money that will buy computers like these. And then 10 years down the road, people like me can get them on the used market, just like I did with my Camaro. It's been abused and 26 owners, and I'm gonna love that thing. I'm gonna cherish that thing. People are gonna remember that. They're not gonna remember some Dell Inspiron or some Dell G4, whatever the hell, from 10 years ago. They're gonna remember something that's different and that stood out. Now, yes, okay, this style is gone. It came and it went. But styles, they always come back, don't they? 90s are coming back. Lupe's wearing bell bottoms right now. Styles come back. I just want styles like this to come back. Fashion comes back. Fashion, it revolves. But tech doesn't. Tech, it just keeps going on its own thing. And I feel like we've just reached a point where it's just plateaued. For the past 10 years, it's just there's been nothing new, nothing innovative, nothing that stands out, man. The same thing with architecture. Every single condo, every single building, apartment building that I see around here, it's all cookie cutter, same bland, boring box. It's like...
Beach blonde, beach body.
Yes. Same bland, boring box and a bleach blonde built body.
Bitch, butch body.
Like we value old architecture, we value old paintings and old art. Is it just the style now? Is it because it's cheaper? Are companies doing it because it's cheaper? Or are they doing it because that's just what the style is? I don't know everything. This is just my opinion. It's something that I just feel passionate about. One of the few things in tech that I feel passionate about, and that's what it is. We don't have the options. I understand you can't mass produce this stuff, but we don't have the options to even get stuff like this. Is it the cause or the result of companies or consumers? Did consumers demand it? Is that what they want? Or are they being force-fed that because that's what companies want because it's cheaper? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if I'm just being an old man yells at clouds. I mean, desktops have evolved, right? The style of desktops. PC gaming, they're RGB fish tanks now, which whatever. I mean, it's, again, my opinion. is my opinion. I don't like it, but people clearly do. That's something people like. But when's the last time someone was like, yeah, this laptop looks so cool. This gaming laptop looks really cool. And that design is just stale. Is it because gaming laptops became so mass produced? Because remember, they weren't very popular back in the day. Gaming laptops like this, dude, these were reserved for the millionaires.
Didn't know they existed.
Lupe just learned today that a gaming laptop existed.
I've always had a computer.
A PC, right? Old IBMs and stuff?
Yes.
Yes.
Compact cast.
Compacts. Yes, yeah, the compacts you just mentioned off screen when we were making love. That compacts, you can change the clear plastic on the front
we
to
had
have
teal and I changed it to purple. Well, it has a little CD player or CDs on the front.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Again, back to the fashion thing. Like, why can't we go back to that? Tech never goes back to things, but there's clearly a demand. Like that new desktop that the Japanese company made. That was it was a retro desktop design. It was like the old, where the monitor sits on it that we used when we were kids playing like Oregon Trail and stuff.
Putt-putt.
Putt-putt, yes. That type of tech, it sold out immediately. That company, I don't know if you saw, but that thing sold. I tried to get one. I couldn't because it was immediately sold out. There's obviously demand for this stuff. And don't be afraid to tell me in the comments if there are laptops that I'm just overlooking nowadays that are different, that do something different, that are styled differently and unique, and they clearly have effort that the engineers and designers put into it. Feel free to let me know, because unlike the leader of the free world, I don't think I know everything. And I'm willing to accept criticism when it's brought to me, especially when it's in a factual format, like say numbers and letters in a chat log that's saved and can be verified from multiple devices. But most importantly, come on, what does that remind you of, Lupe?
Don't know, never had a computer.
What was your first laptop?
Never had a laptop.
No, that's not true. Not true. Lupe is lying. I just caught him in a lie. You know why? Because, story time! And then he like glued his ball. But anyways, can I play Crisis? I just want to assure you that yet. Are you expecting a package? You guys are sickos. 1656 megabytes. You ever use one of these?
Have you seen Breaking Bad?
What do you think's in here? You think you can fit in there?
I'm not going in there.
I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do with this thing.